invite you to call in any, invite in any beneficial energies, but I'll call in Maris Peak, Chatimawi, and the Dixon Creek, Willamette River, Grandmother Pacific Ocean, all of our good true and well ancestors, including Dharma teachers who have gone before us, the people of this land, the Kalapuya and Chippenafa tribes who called this place home before us, all the trees, including that beautiful oak behind me, all the plants, the 2, 4, 6, and 8-leggeds, all those who wish to support us, to help us in awakening. Please be with us, help us to see what we need to see, hear what we need to hear, in order to be of service in this world, in this time of great need. So, thinking about how to practice Dharma in a time of such rapid change, and realize that there are many different ways that we can practice Dharma. So there's only so much time to talk. And actually, is there a chronometer around here?
Chronometer?
Clock.
Oh, you can use this one.
Thank you. Thank you. So I don't get on a roll and talk your ears off. Because of time, focus on the quality of compassion. Compassion in the Buddhist context is nested within this set of 4 practices, 4 qualities of mind called the divine abodes or Brahmaviharas. That includes equanimity, or a balanced, imperturbable state of mind, empathic joy, the ability to celebrate and rejoice when others' lives are going well, kindness, the ability to be friendly towards everyone, and then compassion. And compassion has its roots in kindness. It has its roots in being able to see that everyone's life is precious and everyone deserves to be happy, and the world would be a better place if we were all happy. So, beginning with kindness, and then when we encounter people, beings who are in states of pain, discomfort, that friendliness naturally turns towards wishing them to be well, wishing for them to be relieved of their physical pain, of their whatever negative states they're experiencing. In order to practice compassion, first we need to have the courage to be present with. Compassion, the Latin means suffer with, to be with someone in their discomfort. So to have that quality of mindfulness or awareness, presence, to not move away from the discomfort. Perhaps with our friends or family, perhaps with the shooting in Buffalo, with the violence in Afghanistan or Ukraine. There's just pick someone. And use the presence that we cultivate here in the Zendo to not turn away from, to bear witness to that discomfort and allow it to resonate within ourselves. And then from there to shift and bring in that quality of kindness, that quality of I wish for you to be free from your pain. I wish for you to be free from your discomfort, from your mental stresses, from your addictions, from your afflictions, from whatever it is that I see you experiencing. May you be at ease. Sometimes that's done with phrases. Sometimes for people who are more visual, it can be done as radiating lights or various ways. Creativity is the opportunities for creativity are endless. And then the third quality seems to be particularly helpful when the compassion is here within ourself. If we notice that there is critical energy that comes up with all the pain happening in the world, how could I take time, be so selfish to, be focused on my little self? To bring in the quality of, sometimes it's called common humanity, the recognition that we are not different. We need this relief from discomfort as much as anyone else. And in fact, with nearly 8 billion people on the planet, any discomfort that we are having and any sense of no one understands what my back pain is like, what my relationship pain is like, what my financial pain is like. There are 8 billion people on the planet. There is someone who knows what you are going through, even if you can't name them, even if you can't call them up on the phone. We can know that they exist. We can know that there are thousands of women who went through a miscarriage today, if not more. There are thousands, tens of thousands of people who lost a loved one, if not more, today. And so bringing in that quality to recognize we are not alone in our suffering. So compassion has the quality of directing towards ourselves, directing towards others. And I always appreciate how poets use words to go beyond the limits of language. So there is a poem by Naomi Shihab Nye that expresses this point. She uses the word kindness, and I think it weaves in between kindness as friendliness and kindness as compassion. So she says, "Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all of this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you. How he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak it until your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it's only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd to the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend. Oh, good poems and good teachings set a high bar. So there are two aspects to compassion, and Naomi's poem speaks to the first, to tender compassion. Tender, the nurturing, the being with ourselves or being with others in kindness as we're in pain. Incredibly important. The second aspect of compassion is ferocity. It is that power that says something needs to be done, and it takes action to alleviate suffering. And both of these aspects of compassion hold the love and connection along with the sadness and loss, nothing left out. Both aspects of compassion are courageous, even though they motivate us in different directions. Tender compassion might inspire us to sit and to breathe and to be present. Fierce compassion may call us out to transform, to enact change. And it feels akin to how our spiritual path asks us to keep growing and including and embracing more and more and more to become bigger. And for some of us, that leap into the unknown means sitting down and facing our sometimes wild mind, sometimes distressed heart. For others, it might be having a challenging conversation. For others, it might be dropping this concept of self altogether and merging into oneness. For some, it may be going off and protesting and planting a tree. There's no one right way, and our path evolves over time. As Mumushin was saying, I lived at Great Vows Monastery for nearly a decade, and initially it was really a challenge to wake up at 3:50 and to be told, now you're going to be in the Zendo, and now you're going to be working, and here's the work that you'll be doing. And now, even if you're in the middle of the project, it's time to put that down and to go back and do some chanting. And now, here's the food that you're going to be eating today. And now we're going to do a week-long silent retreat. For me, that was a challenge for a good period of time, and there was so much that was learned through that process. And at a certain point, I started to recognize that the challenge was actually to leave. The challenge was to go out into the world where it was less predictable that people would be committed to their spiritual practice and living ethically. It was more of a challenge to deal with money. I was used to having no money. And to be in different sorts of relationship, not be in community, to do a job application, an interview. Right? So it's tricky how our ego is always looking to affirm that what we're doing is right. And if it's being totally honest, a little bit better than everybody else. So we can't get rid of our ego, but it's really important to earnestly sit with the question of where is the challenge, where is the edge of our spiritual practice right now, right here? Is it going to the Zendo? Is it going out? And letting go of the ideas, the shoulds that we can wrap around. We can read stories and say, oh, that's what so-and-so did. I need to go be like Mother Teresa. Because it's not that living in the world was better than living in the monastery. And then there's this piece of balancing, engaging fully with whatever we are doing and letting go of that outcome. Which is not to say that we give up the caring. We give ourselves fully to the doing because it's the thing that needs to be done. There's the Trappist monk Thomas Merton wrote to a young activist saying, "Do not depend on the hope of results. When you are doing the sort of work you have taken on, you may have to face the fact that your work will be apparently worthless and even achieve no result at all, if not, perhaps result opposite of what you expect. As you get used to this idea, you start more and more to concentrate not on the results, but on the value, the rightness, the truth of the work itself. So in this time, it feels to me that compassion is an antidote to the apathy, to the overwhelm that can come when there's just so much. So much that needs fixing, so much that needs healing, so much that needs repair and reintegration, reweaving. An antidote to disengagement. There was a monk, Mathieu Ricard, who's done a lot of work with the neurologists about understanding how Buddhist meditation impacts our brains, and he was asked to meditate on just sitting with the suffering for 2 hours. And he said at the end of 2 hours, he said, don't do the compassion piece, just the being with, empathize with the pain. And he said at the end of 2 hours, he was done. He was totally exhausted. And then they said, well, we could wait and come back in the afternoon to do the compassion piece, or we could do it now. And he said, oh, please, can we do the compassion now? I really, this is too much for me to be holding. And he said it was like opening a dam. Just letting it flow. So I invite us to sit for a minute, I recognize each of us has perhaps a different practice that we're doing right now, but to experiment for a few minutes right here and right now with compassion, and we'll do it a little bit to the self and then a little bit to someone who we know who is in discomfort. So you can sit with your eyes open or closed as best serves you. Starting by taking a few breaths to let go the words, the concepts. Tuning to the feelings that let you know you have a body that's breathing. And then becoming aware of an area in your life or body where there is discomfort. And bringing in this quality of mindfulness, spacious presence to bear witness. If it's possible to notice the emotion that comes up when you bring in this aspect of your life. And then noticing where in your body does that emotion resonate? What shifts in your body that lets you know that sadness has arisen, or anger has arisen, or fear has arisen? Not trying to change it, yes, just trying to be present with. And for a moment then, as we feel this in our own body, being aware that there are thousands of people around the world right now sitting with this same discomfort, this same challenge, their unique version perhaps. Gently bringing that wider awareness as you sit with your own discomfort, your own physical sensations. Noticing how that shifts in any way the experience, to be aware that you are not holding this alone, this experience. And then turning to bring in the kindness considering if your dear friend or loved one brought you this pain, shared this pain with you, what are the words that you would say to them? And then gently, with the out-breath, offering that same words, those same words of kindness to yourself. You know the words that will speak most to your own being. Noticing if there's any discomfort with giving ourselves attention, and if so, just being gentle with that too. As you're ready, you can let that experience go and take a few breaths to release it. Widening perhaps your experience out from that area of the body to the full body. Now I invite you to bring in front of you or in your awareness, whatever way feels true for you, someone in your life who is going through a challenge right now. Medical challenge, financial, relationship, spiritual, long-term, short-term, but one person. And just like we did with ourselves, bringing into our awareness that challenge that they are experiencing, and allowing that to resonate in our own body, whether through the words, emotions that they've communicated to us about how they're feeling, or placing ourselves in their shoes, understanding what it might be like for us to go through an experience like that. And sitting with them in that discomfort, in that raw experience. This is not a relationship, as Pema Chodron says, between the wounded and the healed. Sitting in the dark with someone. So for a moment, having the courage to breathe and sit, even energetically with that person. And then we bring in the compassion. Again, using phrases. If that is helpful, if you are visual and would like to visualize breathing golden energy into their being, follow your wisdom. Breath by breath, offering them the most sincere intentions, aspirations, prayers for them to experience peace, relief, ease. Just another few breaths. And then we allow dissolve, returning to the experience of this body as it sits, as it breathes. Noticing the condition of the body. And perhaps even just offering a word or two of gratitude to yourself for having the courage to engage in that to the degree that you were able to. It's really challenging to sit with discomfort, pain. It's counterintuitive. And then, when you're ready, you can open your eyes if they were closed. So again, there's no one magic cure for a Dharma practice to use in a time like this. We need all the tools, just like we need all the people, like we need all the animals, like we need all the trees, we need everybody. And showing up to the best of their ability. And so I'm so grateful for all of you coming here to support each other, for taking the risk to engage, and so grateful to have the opportunity to share this space with you, this incredible space, and for the invitation. So with that, I will close.
Thank you so much, Ryushin, for that lovely talk.